Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing
Basketball.
Here's our hosts, Steve Collins, and Bill Flitter.
Around the horn, did I have that?
All right, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops.
Coach,
Excellent. How are you?
so I'm doing great. Again, we get to talk about basketball. It's one of my favorite subjects. So
It's always a good. That's
but-
always a good thing. I know. And we're not doing 87 of these, so you and I have a lot more energy. When we do like 5 or 6 of these, sometimes we batch them if people don't know. Yeah, it can get long.
in case you're wondering why, if you're watching this on YouTube, our closer is
Exactly same.
Although I have my Game Changer.
I know.
shirt on,
Mine's
so-
in the wash. I was wearing it, people, at Game Changer, and we do love Game Changer, don't we?
Yeah, go to gc.com/coaching youth hoops. Go check out Game Changer, especially now that if you're listening to this, you're in the middle of your season, in the midst of your season. Great tool to track stats. Parents can watch live if they can't be at the game. Just an amazing tool to do all kinds of game management. Go to gc.com/coaching youth hoops.
Awesome. And what else do we
What
have
are we
to
talking
share,
about
Coach?
today?
What else do we have
We'll
to
come
share?
back-
Was that it?
Let's
Is that all
tease
we're gonna
something.
share?
We'll come back. We'll come back
Okay.
to that. Let's talk about
Okay.
we're going to talk about post-game talks though.
Okay.
We're going to do that. So yeah, we got a couple more things to share. So stay
We
tuned.
do.
We got some special offers and some amazing stuff. So,
We
but
do.
we're going to talk post-game talks. One of my subjects that I kind of go back and forth on, tweaked over the years. So I'd love to get your thoughts once we dive into that. But what makes for an effective post-game talks? What do you talk about? Do you not do it? What's the focus? What should the focus be? Wins versus loss, a little bit different. Because if you think about it, at the end of the game, on a win or on a loss, right? Parents want to leave, kids want to leave.
Right.
On a win, they just want to go high five all their buddies, especially at the high school level. But at the grade school level, right? They're all excited, they're amped up. Maybe a better time to do the talk, right? But that's one of the challenges. But my philosophy is I think you should do something. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it can be. I think there's a couple things. First of all, they don't hear anything you say. All the hard losses I've had, and even the great wins I've had, they really don't hear what you're saying at all after the game.
Yeah.
So I think short is good. I getting upset or anything like that anyway, short is sweet. Is that at that point? I'm gonna tell you, there's not a lot of teachable things that are going to happen. They're either going to be an emotional high or emotional low. They're either going to have won or lost. There's shifts at that point. But I think a lot more teaching, if you want to get some points across, can much easier to do it after a win and say, we won and we escaped here, but we didn't do this, and we didn't do this kind of thing. More likely to get something out of it then, I think, than after a loss and they're mad and blah, 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 blah. So I think that's one of the big things, I think, for anyway, I think that's one of the bigger things moving forward is keep it short. No one wants to have a 35-minute conversation. I've had them in my 35 years. I've had the sophomore team or the JV team has been sitting on the bus for 45 minutes after we've had a loss that we shouldn't have had. but I can name all of those. It's like that usually doesn't do any good, and it's usually, coach repeating himself 3 times. But anyway, so yeah, I think it's the teachable moment is the next time. The teachable moment is
in the next practice, you mean? Or
yeah, the next practice, the next time you see them, maybe 30 minutes, maybe you're playing in a tournament, you're playing 3 games, you just lost a tough one. You say a couple words, they go, then the 20 minutes before the next tip off, they might be refocused at the youth level. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that.
So, yeah, one of the things I do is at the end is I go around the horn asking everybody I ask them one question: whose game did you like and why? Doesn't matter, win or loss, just whose game did you like? And the reason is that fits into our culture. I want them to recognize someone else. And again, obviously that is, in a loss, that's important as well, that they're still focused on the positive of the game, not the final score, but whose game did you like? Who really impressed you? It's like, and they know it by now what I mean. At first I tell them the details. Like, I just want you to recognize someone who you like, wow, that just wowed you during the game. Maybe, they held their composure. Maybe they hit some game-winning shots. They hustled, whatever kind of goes back to our red dot framework, which I've talked on the show a lot about. I want you to focus on that. And then I just ask one person. I may pinpoint them, or I say, hey, I just want one person to raise their hand. And this is the question I ask them: what's one thing we need to go back to the lab and work on? I always call practice the lab, right? Because we're experimenting in there, right? And I look at it that as we're experimenting, trying new things.
It's a test. It's a laboratory. Yes.
Yeah. So what's one thing we need to go work on, win or loss, right? In a win, there's something to work on. And I always talk, and I'm going to do a better job of this in the post game too, is, learning versus losing, right? We either win or we learn. So I want to bring that up towards the end of the game. What did we learn? What was the big takeaway today? So I make that more, I don't really focus on it. There's of course, there's some times when I'm like, yeah, we should have lost that game. Like, we had it, right?
Right.
I try to stop myself. They know it. And if they want to talk about it, I let them talk about it. But then I just move on. Yeah, and I think that's important.
I think it is. It's like sometimes I'm going to challenge the coaches listening. Sometimes it's about you. You're processing. Go in the parking lot and talk to yourself.
Right.
Yeah, for someone that's done it 35 years, it's you processing more than the kids process.
That's right. That's right.
So what I tell you is just leave them and go up. I've done this. I've left them and then I've walked around school 17 times, just like, fine. They don't need to hear that. That's just me being like, I need to get it out. Or I'll do it with my assistant coaches and or you got to go talk to your wife or whatever it is. Go process it, but you don't need to process it with the 12-year-old. Like,
no. Yeah, no, it's true. But I think that thing going into that is one, just set the tone. Like,
yes.
Right. Gather them a circle, in a calm setting, keep the tone positive, supportive, right? Regardless of the game outcome.
Right.
For wins, right? Emphasize the, efforts and strategies, highlight, like I said, maybe highlight the key players and individuals. I do that win or loss. Maybe you mentioned a few people that you liked, their contribution to the game. For the losses, I mean, honestly, nothing really changes. But for me, we still talk about the learning opportunities, win or loss. We talk about the areas of improvement, win or loss. So it doesn't really change the tone, maybe a little bit somber, but sometimes I told you, if you go back a couple podcasts ago, I talked about this. We were getting our butts kicked and our goal was just to score, 6 points in a particular quarter. And we achieved that goal. That post-game conversation was all about, we put a goal out there and we achieved it. It wasn't about that we just lost by 30. It was about, hey, and that wasn't from me, that was from them, which was awesome because I put the focus on scoring those. Next area is just keep it short. 5-10 minutes max, depending on the age, maybe, just a couple rah-rahs and away they go if they're 3rd, 4th grade. Talk about, the constructive, feedback. When you do provide feedback, we and us conversations, because we're in this together. Don't point fingers at them. It's a we thing, right? We're part of the team.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's kind of how I think about, the post game.
Yeah. I just think you gotta making rash. This is a good life lesson here. Making rash decisions or rash,
Right.
like, it's like,
Yeah.
you're not, this is, again, going back, I hate to talk about game changer, but this is like, maybe you got to go home and watch the film.
Yeah. Because what you record up here
is different. It's so different.
Right?
So
And the playback is different.
/coaching YouTubes.
Coaching.
You could go home and watch it. The number of times I've said like da 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 da, and it's wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe that wasn't the issue. Maybe it was our defensive conversion was the issue, and it wasn't that we weren't running the play. Whatever it was, film doesn't lie. Film don't lie. It just doesn't. Anyway, so be rational. Short, sweet, that kind of stuff. But yeah. Anyway, I think a lot of that is the key. Again, hate to pimp it out, but that's game changer. That's what you basically got to look at it, kind of figure out. Most of the time I'm wrong, and I'm a stats teacher, unless I have the stats right in front of me.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, and that's why you don't want to, just keep it short, sweet, be calm. Win or loss, have the same post game share the same information, post game wrap up, whatever you want to call it. You should tell maybe your tone changes a little bit. Sure, those games that I've been disappointed in losing, but again, go back to the lab, figure out one big takeaway. Again, that's more about them thinking. I want them to think, and be part of the solution, right? It's not just me telling them what to do. So,
all right, before you go through the summary, Coach, let's you said we had a couple of things we wanted to share. We definitely want to talk about the weekly clinic, because I'm super excited about the weekly clinic. We're trying to make
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Coach, I cut you off. Didn't mean to do that.
No, go ahead. No, I muted myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I was super excited about the weekly clinics as well. If you go to coachingyouthhoops.com/weekly-coaches-clinic, again, weekly-coaches-clinic, go check it out. This is basically taking 50 years of experience here between Coach and I and boiling it down into weekly lessons. So there's a lot of noise on the internet, and coaches are always trying new things and wasting time. We basically took out all the clutter,
got rid of the noise,
rid of the noise, and basically gave you a game plan. Follow these things to do. Again, go to coachingyouthhoops.com/weekly-coaches-clinic for more information on that.
Go over and check that out. All right, so give a quick summary here of what your thoughts on post game are, Coach.
Yeah, set the tone. Number one, focus.
Take deep breaths. 3 deep breaths before you go in the locker room.
3 deep breaths.
3 deep breaths.
My philosophy is win or losses, the post game should be the same at the youth level. Doesn't matter. Keep it short. Be prepared for some constructive feedback if you want, but be encouraging and motivating. That's it.
That works. All right.
That works.
Next time we talk, it will be October.
Love it.
Halloween, Coach.
Yeah. Got to think about my costume.
Yes.
All right, Coach. Till next time.
All right. Till next time.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains May 2nd through the 12th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.